that broke while I was out. A few of those should be easy to pick out which ones. And, you know, there was a time, I guess, when it would be like, oh, can't wait to talk about it. There was a little bit of me this time around where I was like, oh, you know what, good. Like, you know what, good. I ended up picking up a decent week there. Family came into town and ended up just being my brother and his wife. Their daughter decided to stay at school after being in a pretty serious car accident. She's going to be okay. But she did total the car. And so she was kind of shooken up about that and was looking to just kind of stay local. So it was just my brother and his wife came in, which was nice. It was her father turned 80, and her dad had been a wrestling coach at Chanel up in the Cleveland area. And so, like, all his old wrestlers came out, and it was a big party at this place called Cerna's in Bedford, which was a huge place for my brother and his wife and her dad. And all that's where everybody hung out. And, like, Roxanne worked there back in the day. That's where her and my brother met. And it was like, you know, it was like a nice big homecoming for everybody. So that was kind of a nice time. Then we went out and saw my family, some of my family, my cousin Mike and his wife, have a little bit of a trailer out at Roundup Lake, I think is where that is. And so we went there and did some of that with them. It was just kind of nice to have my family in town. Now, my brother's not in here. He came down and spent more time in Canton than his wife did. They kind of separated a little bit during that vacation. So David and I were left to our own devices. We hit for the pizza cycle. I let him try a little bit of everything there. And so we did that. Had all the restaurants, did all the Stark County food thing there, because David, that's his thing now. Like, he's an old man, just wants to eat, just wants to do that kind of thing. So that's what we did. They left a little earlier than they had been scheduled to leave, which actually ended up working out. Because, like, I entertained them, and then they were gone, and I was like, all right, I got a couple of days just kind of, like, relax, reset, press refresh, and then get back in here and get back to doing the program for you. Trying to come back with as strong of a program as I possibly can, which is why at 7 a.m., I'll have Bert Kreischer with me. The Machine in town on the 20th, that at Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium. You can get some tickets. There's not that many left, but you can get some at fullyloadedfestival.com. Dan Soder will be part of that. Whitney Cummings is part of that. Tony Hinchcliffe, who absolutely murdered at the Tom Brady roast, he'll be part of that as well. So we'll get Bert on the program. That will be 7 a.m. this morning. Also in the 7 o'clock hour, we're going to have to take a look at Kelly Osbourne a little bit, as she has said something, I think, in jest here. I think she's screwing around, but she was talking about her drug use and what she hopes it will do for her body long term. I think she's screwing around here. I think people are looking to make a mountain out of a molehill a little bit here with what she has said, if I could use the word here more times than I should. I think she said something just kind of screwing around on a pod, and people kind of isolated it, and it comes off really bad in print. But if you take a second and, like, lean back in the chair a little bit, like, oh, all right, dude, she's kind of screwing around. It's not necessarily the worst thing in the world. But we'll get to what Kelly Osbourne had to say about sobriety, her drug use, and what she hopes will happen with her body in the future. We'll do that in the 7 o'clock hour. It is Monday, 8 o'clock. We'll get to talk to Scott from nextyear.com. The Celtics, I believe, have a 2-game lead in the NBA Finals. Talk about that with him a little bit. Caitlin Clark getting left off the USA women's basketball team. People up in arms about that. And I do think that there's, you know, I can't quite make out what's happening. Is this well, dude, she's a rookie and, like, you know, you kind of have to wait your turn? Or is this Michael Jordan didn't want to play with Isaiah Thomas, so we're not doing that? I can't quite make out what's happening there. So I'll ask Scott what he thinks about that. The Guards did win yesterday. That's 6-3 over the Florida Marlins. The Guards now 42-22 on the year. So much for everybody who thought, you know, going with Stephen Vogt. Guy's never been a baseball manager before. Oh my God, tribe stupid. Oh my God, Guards, dumb. And it's like, well, it seems like it's working out pretty good. Seems like it's working out. Also at 9 a.m., was an Ohio McDonald's. Are they trying to tell you that the country's in trouble, or was a mistake just made? We'll get to that story. We'll do that coming up at 9 a.m. this morning here on the Stansberry Show. 330-450-7625 to text the program. You can also find me using that microphone talkback button on iHeartRadio, and I'm on your socials at The Stansberry Show. 7 a.m., we'll sit down and talk to Bert Kreischer. The Machine will be in town, that on the 20th, Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium, fullyloadedfestival.com for your tickets. Might have a few pairs to pass out this week on the program, too, but we'll have Bert on the program at 7. I'm excited about that. I was a little worried about this, if I'm honest. All right, so the truth of the matter is this is the second time this is supposed to go down. We were supposed to have Bert already. I was supposed to have Bert before I left on vacation, right? And something had screwed up in here. I think it was my fault, actually. I had been screwing something up in here, and so like the audio was corrupted. It wasn't any good, and it was like, oh God, we ended up having to cancel in the middle of it. And I was like, let me try to call you right back. And so I called right back, and I thought it was going to be a handler. I was like, look, tell Bert I'm sorry. I'm struggling. I'm trying to get this set up in here right. And he just starts to giggle, and he goes, yo, man, this is Bert. He's like, I don't have a handler. I do. I'm like, what? He's like, well, I have those people. He's like, but I made the call. I was like, oh, God. I was like, dude, I'm so sorry. I was like, this is a mess. I'm trying. I was like, I apologize. I know you're a busy dude. I know you got a lot going on. He's like, it's all good, man. He's like, show's not for a couple of weeks. He's like, he's like, Alan's his booking agent. He's like, I'll have Alan reach out. He's like, we'll get you rescheduled. And I thought, yeah, whatever, right? He was just going to blow me off. Show was going to come in and out of town. I wasn't going to have him on the program and look like the biggest dope of all time. And I'm on vacation, and Alan, the booking agent, reached out and said, yo, man, Bert's willing to do it. Are you back Monday? And I said, yeah. He's like, he'll be there 7 o'clock for you on Monday. I was like, oh my God, I love it. I absolutely love it. So we're excited to have Bert. Almost did not have that happen. I would have been a little bummed out about that. I mean, let's be honest, it's a big gift for me. You know what I mean? The dude's like one of the biggest things going. He's kind of reached a little bit of that saturation level, that Taylor Swift, like you see him now, it's like, oh, right, Kreischer, we get it, right? Like there's a little bit of that on him right now. I'm interested to talk to him about that. Like how he offsets that. Does he think about it? Is it on his mind at all? Like, and we'll get into that, the show, what he thought about the roast, obviously. We'll get into some of that stuff, too, with Bert Kreischer, that at 7 a.m. I was a little happy that the booking agent tripped over himself to get me a second crack at it, honestly. There's a reason why shows take a lot of, a lot of times you'll be like, why is he interviewing that dude? It's to get Bert Kreischer. Booking agents book multiple people. You want them happy with you. So you're in there, what used to be called a Rolodex of names like, oh, dude, get him on that show, get that, get this. And so you will grease the wheels, right? You will, you'll do that a little bit. And I don't do that as often as some other shows. I'm like, dude, I don't care about that lady who wrote that book about that. No, I ain't talking to her, right? And so like I'm not. And so I was expecting him to go, no, did you always blow me off? You always tell me no, I'm not doing it. But he literally jumped through a bunch of hoops to get us Bert. And so we'll do that, like I said, 7 a.m. this morning. Looking forward to that, and I'll have some tickets this week to get passed out. One of the things I talk about on the show, maybe too often for some of you, is AI and what it's going to do to, well, all jobs. We've seen what it's done to plenty of jobs, and I think it's only going to get worse. The creators of it are telling us it's only going to get worse. But I don't really do the best job, I guess, of giving you examples of how messy things will get. Once upon a time, I played you some audio of an AI program doing a set of George Carlin. And it sounded enough like him. I didn't think it was exact, but I said, we'll give it some time. And the family was really upset. They sued the creator of the AI program, and they're suing the user who's doing it, who put the set out. And it's a misrepresentation of, what I do or what my father did, I think is what the family had said. They were pushing back on that pretty heavily. Well, now, if it comes out and stuff gets done and it's kind of funny, the artist it's mocking will post it. And that's what happened here with 50 Cent. Somebody mashed up 50 Cent and Conway Twitty to give us this gem right here.
You can find me in the club, a bottle full of bub. I'm into having sex, I ain't in making love. But come give me a hug.
And this is how they're going to get away with it, right? Because this is hilarious. It is. It's funny. And it's a fun listen. And it's like, oh, dude, that'd be kind of interesting. Imagine that. Because 50, you know what 50 did, right? He went out there and was like, you think Beyonce had a big country record? Wait till you hear this.
If you're into getting rough, go shoddy. It's your birthday. We're going to party like it's your birthday.
This is how it's going to take hold. Because everybody's going to laugh like we're doing right now and giggle, blah. But in 5 years, you're not going to be able to tell what's reality and what isn't.
When I pull out up front, you see the bands on the nose. When I roll 20 deep, it's 29 in the club.
We're bringing bringing knives into the club. 15. You gun like a grown man.
My flow, my show brought me the dough that bought all my fancy things. My bread, my cars, my clothes, my tools, and tight-fitting jeans.
I didn't know he said tight-fitting jeans in that. I didn't know that. So like I said, it's funny, obviously, right? And I love it. It's great. And we're all having a fun time with it and all that. But like in a few years, are you going to be able to tell? Because here's my issue. He didn't say that. What he actually said was this. No, he didn't. What he actually said was this. And how are you going to know? There will be no deciphering at that point. And I just don't know if we're headed into good territory with that. But you know we got to try this with this, right? Yeah.
You can find me in the club.
Keep using AI.
A bottle full of bub. I'm into having sex. I ain't into making love. So come give me a buzz.
It's always
If you're
better.
into
Always.
getting rough. Go shawty, it's your birthday. We're gonna party like it's your birthday. When I pull up out front, you see the Benz on the door. When I roll 20 deep, it's 29 in the club. My flow, my show brought me the dough that bought all my fancy things. My bread, my cars, my clothes, my tools, and tight-fitting jeans.
I had no idea tight-fitting jeans was part of that, because I would have just thought, wasn't he from the era of the baggy jean? Wasn't that the thing? Do I have the lingo mixed up? Do I not know the language? What's happening? I don't quite understand that one. Like I said, it's funny, but I worry about where we're going to be with like presidential speeches, where we're going to be with historical speeches. I mean, we already have problems. Google who invented the hairbrush. It will tell you it was invented in like 1870. It wasn't. It was invented long before that. And I mean, dude, there are patents all over the place long before that. We are literally entering an era where information, people have been screaming about misinformation for a while. What do you think that is going to do to misinformation? We had been talking about this piece of audio that makes me a little worried about AI technology taking over, because listen to how well this came out.
You can find me in the club.
Yeah, it's coming up
Little 50
pretty
Cent
quick. I
Conway
can't believe
mashup
it's
there.
June already.
I'm into having sex. I ain't into making love. So come give me a hug if you're into getting rough. Go shawty, it's your birthday. We're gonna party like it's your birthday. When I pull out out front, you see the Benz on the dubs. When I roll 20 deep, it's 29 in the club. My flow, my show brought me the dough that bought all my fancy things.
Yeah, me and Linlin are supposed to be heading back to the Philippines here in January. That's coming up real freaking quick too.
And like so many of you reached out on the text line at 330-450-7625 or inboxes at the social medias, the Stansbury Show. Stansbury, what are you, an idiot? Like, dude, the tight-fitting jeans thing is actually from Conway Twitty. They actually mashed up the two songs together there. I was like, oh, okay, see, like, I forgot that could be part of it. By the way, the account that did that version of that, it's called There I Ruined It, and they're pretty good at stuff, like they are. They're good at ruining things, right? So thank you for that. That was an oversight by me. There's, I tell people all the time about this mode my brain goes into. It's called show mode. And like, this is an excuse, but it is a reason. Also that, I'm just not fully back in show mode, where like, not everything's going past the critical brain part where it's like, dude, that's not this, or this is this and this and that, and find that, like, there's a fine tuning of information that kind of goes through that. I miss plenty of stuff, don't get me wrong. But like, when that's not actively engaged often, that's what I relax at, actually, when I go on vacation, is that part where I gotta like obsess over everything and like find the thing. And so I just miss that. Also, I'm just not all that well versed on some Conway. I like him. I've heard some stuff. You know what I mean? It's not like I don't hate him around, but it's like that's not necessarily my favorite stuff. And so I just had missed it. So thank you for that, guys. This is what I love about this show, man. Everybody gets to learn stuff. You guys get to learn stuff. I get to learn stuff. Everybody's learning stuff. Absolutely.
All right, catch you later. I got a few new
out,
drone videos on the channel if you want to check them out. A couple more in the next couple days being posted.
But a Houston,
nothing major, just over the Dover Dam.
Had filmed some shocking video at Lamar Consolidated Gray Elementary, that in Richmond, Texas. She had been stripping and exposing herself in the classroom and in the school's bathroom. Now, most of the articles I've read has kept the woman's name out of it as charges had not been filed
bud.
at that
Have
time.
a good day.
Right? But
Catch you later.
did reach the attention of community activist Quinnell X. Now, doing some search for Quinnell before coming back to work this morning, it tells me he is the new leader of the new Black Panther Party, right? Region of Texas, he's the leader. I don't know that much about him. I really don't. But he unleashed a pretty lengthy piece of audio condemning this young woman. And a lot of people have tagged me in this, like, yo man, is this dude gonna find himself in the Friday audio reel? And I think he might. Here's what he had to say about filming porn in schools.
You really can't make this stuff up. It is absolutely appalling, shameful, and frightening that these are the type of educators that are in an elementary school teaching our children. But now we got a teacher in the classroom on school hours.
Yeah, this was actually going on while school, like, from the best of my knowledge, from what I've seen here, students weren't in the classroom, but students were, in fact, in the school when this was going down.
Stripping down butt naked, bending over, and showing everything on the video, and all you could see was cellulite hanging in pubic hair.
Now, see, he didn't have to go all the way to cellulite and then give you that extra little punch up on pubic hair. I don't know why I had to go all boss hog on pubic hair, but like, what he did, pubic hair.
Stripping down butt naked, bending over.
He could have just been done right there. Like, he could have just been done right there, right?
And showing everything on the
Hey,
video.
Buckeyes. Glad you could check in.
Now, it gets worse.
I just found your channel the week you went back over there.
We would be done, right? Nope. Homie presses the gas pedal down and continues to go. The woman standing next to him laughing hysterically. She can barely keep a straight face.
This is a disgrace and a shame. That this is the
Yeah, we've been trying to head back over there the last couple of years, but just things haven't worked out.
And she made most.
She's been wanting to get back to see her family and stuff.
Was unaware until we brought this to
I
her
still have
attention.
yet to meet her
And she
mother.
did this in the classroom. What else will she do?
That's not a terrible question. It's showing me what your decision is. If you think this is what is okay, then maybe you don't think it's okay. You just, what? Egotistic American, you think to yourself, I won't. Right? I mean, that's how we have criminals of this nature. Again, filming the content in the school, to the best of our knowledge, no students were involved. That part's great. But, like, you know why she was doing it in the school. It's riskier. I shouldn't be watching this. Oh my God, look at this. And she's playing into the hype of that. She's awful. The people who need stuff to be filmed at those locations in order to reach the final.
I was there for the first
I worry
time
about them
in
too. It's not their turn. I worry
2019.
about them too.
This woman obviously had lost her damn mind.
Right at the start of their
That's
Christmas
going to
season.
Friday audio reel. For sure. I'm getting that on the hot button every time I talk about a woman that annoys me.
This woman obviously had lost her damn mind.
You know what? I'm just going to start playing that off my phone anytime a woman annoys me in public.
This woman obviously had lost her damn mind.
That's my new favorite hot button on the Stansbury Show. That one right there, buddy.
She needs psychotropic medication.
I'm sorry about that.
She needs psychotropic medication.
Well, let's get her that as fast as humanly possible.
She pulls out her breast and she's juggling them. Look like she's about to fall over. Then she bends over, pulls down her pennies.
What's the extra sauce on these words, right?
Bends over and pulls down her pennies. spreads her cheeks. I'm not.
Oh, come on, man. We had to go all the way to spreading cheeks. I'm not sure we had to spread the cheeks, right?
Spreads her cheeks. I'm not lying. I'm telling you what's in the video. Spreads her cheeks. This is madness.
This is madness. Bro, sometimes my programmer will come down the hallway and be like, oh man, I was listening yesterday. It's 7:30, we're talking about freezing sex toys. It's like, yeah, man, that's what they're doing out there. Like, dude, you act like I was in the studio freezing the sex toys. I wasn't. I'm the dude telling them that there are freaks out there freezing their sex toys. That's literally the thing he got mad. Not mad, but he was like, dude, 7:30? What was up with that? It's like, dude, this is a community activist. If he can say that into a
helicopter up above there,
then I can say freezing sex toy into a Rock 1069 microphone.
Wonder what they're looking for.
Should never, ever be allowed to be an educator. This woman should never be allowed to work around children.
Well, I think I agree with that part.
Ever again. And I believe that if a thorough investigation takes place, you can find something criminally to bring her into a courtroom for.
Well, I would hope filming sexual content in a school would be something we could charge somebody criminally for. I would hope that would be a thing. Now, this is not a political statement from me, but wait till you hear what this guy says next. I was kind of shocked that this is what he said to sum up his point about arresting this woman and charging her. I was surprised this is what he said to make his point.
Because I've seen law enforcement put parents in courtrooms for far much less than this.
There's that.
If we can put Donald Trump in the courtroom and find something to prosecute him for, don't tell me we can't find something to prosecute this woman for.
I was just kind of shocked that the man who's listed online as being the leader of the new Black Panther said that to drive home his point. Now, why am I shocked by that? Well, because the media has told me my entire life that this vote shall go this way, this vote will go this way, your vote, if somebody votes this way, you're terrible, if they vote this way, right? And so you don't expect the viewpoint to come from this person of, yeah, they're kind of railroading. But that to me is what he's saying. This to me is saying he feels as if he had been railroaded.
If we can put Donald Trump in the courtroom and find something to prosecute him for, don't tell me we can't find something to prosecute this woman for.
Now, I guess maybe he's just making the point, look, if you can bring the president or an ex-president into a courtroom, then we can find a way to charge a teacher. Maybe that's the point he's making. Once you invoke the name, whether it's fair or not, I don't think that's the way that's going to be received. I was surprised when I heard that in that audio.
This is sad. This is madness. This is filth at its finest.
Period. You know, and so the woman standing next to him, you'll have to forgive me, her I don't know, but this is the woman who couldn't stop laughing at him. She jumps in here.
Period. You know, this is not a place for that. You do not sexualize our children. You don't come with that sexualized type behavior on any type of school campus. You keep that mess in your bedroom.
Yeah, I don't know who that lady is, but I feel like she needs to say that about 10,000 more times out there, right? I kind of feel like, yeah, maybe keep saying stuff like this.
Period. You know, this is not a place for that. You do not sexualize our children. You don't come with that sexualized type behavior on any type of school campus. You keep that mess in your bedroom. So like I said, your porn days is over, sis. You're doing too much.
Yeah, your porn days is over, sis. You, in fact, was doing too much. Welcome to the Friday audio reel. Both those people will be prominently displayed this Friday. Up next on the program, Bert Kreischer, who's in town on the 20th at Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium. Catch him on the Stansbury Show here next on Rock 1069. Welcome back to the Stansbury Show on Rock 1069, online for you at WRQK.com. Back from vacation and packed with a big show. In town June 20th, Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium, Bert Kreischer, host of, obviously, the Fully Loaded Comedy Festival. Bert, my man, you're the biggest celebrity going. How in the hell are you staying grounded these days, my man?
When you get jaded with fame, you're like, I don't want to become unrelatable. I'm like, yo, I'm going to be who I am. I'm unrelatable. I'm a 51-year high-functioning alcoholic who tours the country. I've got a loving wife, 2 great kids. Like, I am what I am, you know?
It's, you know, when I was growing up, Bert, it seemed like a big deal when Dice was playing Madison Square Garden. And now you're going around the country with basically an Ozfest. Like, I don't know how, you know, you wrap your head around something like that. I know you were seeking out success, but this has got to be something that even you weren't really prepared for, right?
Well, yeah, I suffer from ambition. Like, I think, like, I never got a lot of opportunities when I was younger as a comic. And when I was 44, I got real lucky. Netflix special came out. Rogan's clip of me telling the machine went viral. And I just was like, yo, I'm going to make hay while the sun shines. But now you don't get these opportunities often in life. And I'd done this summer tour. I'd done the tour during the pandemic at drive-in movie theaters, and I had so much fun with it that I just knew it was achievable, that I could do the same size venues outdoors and these amphitheaters and these stadiums. And I was like, but why not bring my best friends with me, the best comics in the world, and really put on a show and really, you know, make it where people are discovering their new favorite comedians. Because that's the best thing in life. When you go back to like 1991 and I'm in my dorm room and someone's like, have you heard Nirvana? And you're like, no, what is it? And they play it and you go, whoa, I am going to get this CD. This is my new favorite thing. I love doing that with comedy, man. I've done that with a lot of my favorite comedians. I'll share a couple names at risk of sounding gross, but like I brought, you know, Mark Norman and Shane Gillis out on the road with me for years. I would have to follow Shane Gillis getting standing ovations after doing 20 minutes. And there's a weird feeling where you get excited to watch your friends pop. And I remember going up to Arizona one time after Shane, he got a stick. I was like, Jesus, what is this? And you watch them outgrow you, and look, and I'm lucky enough that all my favorite people all come back to the tour. I got Dave Attell out with us. Dave Attell's the best in the game. Whitney Cummings, Big J. Okerson, Dan Soder, all these are murderers. Tony Hinchcliffe just destroyed on the roast. All anyone's talking about is who's following Hinchcliffe this week, you know?
Yeah, and the Kill Tony thing, I got to give you and him both credit because you are very good about pushing other comics out and not being guarded or not trying to protect your place in that. And I think it speaks to your willingness. You're right. You have a dedication to hustle. You're known as the party guy, the get too drunk guy, but you know, a lot of those comedians we've seen in the past didn't necessarily, they had all the talent in the world and brought a lot of great art. Maybe not necessarily the same work ethic I think that you and even Segura both kind of have. You both seem very driven at what you do.
Yeah. Well, I'm really lucky to have a great wife who
you are.
me on track.
straight.
When we got done Fully Loaded last year, everyone wanted to put me in rehab. And my wife's like, he'll figure it out. And I did. I lost 45 pounds. I'm feeling great. And even going into this one, she's like, yo, how do we put some guardrails up around you? Because every time I get around my friends, we get loose. I mean, we were eating mushrooms at 10 a.m., going on river rafting tours. But that's the fun of the festival.
Yeah, it is.
And it's 3 weeks. I've taken 9 months off as soon as we get done. And, but yeah, you know, I think the other thing is, look, I got to give credit to Rogan. Rogan put out this mentality of like, the high tide raises all the boats. You never crap on another comedian, just unless they're stealing. But
yeah, unless you're Carlos Mencia, yeah.
He's like, we can all help each other. We can all put each other over. And I think guys like myself, Tony, Tom, Bobby Kelly, like a lot of great comics have done that with younger comics. And that's just my goal, is to get out. Look, I've already done my tours. I'm taking 9 months off. These festivals, really honestly, are a cheat code for me to hang out with my friends, for my family to be out on the road with us, but more importantly, to share great comedy with cool comedy fans.
Yeah, you know, I was happy you mentioned Whitney Cummings because she is on your tour, fullyloadedfestival.com for tickets, by the way, for that show June 20th here in Canton. And I love the fact that she's on that tour. I actually really like Whitney a lot, and you brought the Tom Brady roast up. And I'm happy Whitney is part of this because the roast, I think, opened a lot of people's eyes to one of the dumbest things that gets said all the time is that women aren't funny. Nikki Glaser went up there and absolutely, Bert, I mean, I know you're the expert and I'm not, but I felt like Nikki absolutely, and I mean murdered, right? And so I think it kind of blew away some of that women aren't funny narrative that you hear out there.
Oh, I think that it's such a tired trope.
Yeah,
listen,
I agree.
Well, I'll tell you right now, by far, when you're in a green room, the woman in the green room, the female comic, is by far always the funniest in the green room. Always the fun. They rip it. They're forced to rip it at a different level than the men because of that old saying. But, man, Whitney Cummings is a genius. She is a genius. She is a brilliant podcaster. She's created hit shows. She has amazing specials. And she's like an aunt to my daughters. My wife and her are best friends.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah, my wife and her text all the time. Whitney just had a baby, so she's running everything through my wife. Like, yo, what's ... So, but yeah, these, and man, Nikki destroyed.
Oh, she killed.
Destroyed that.
She was great.
Tom and I looked at each other after she was on. I looked at Tom and he's like, we are about to bomb hard. There's no way we can follow that.
Yeah, I thought she did such a great job. And the way it aired, when I watched it, her and Hinchcliffe kind of being at opposite ends of it a little bit, I thought worked perfectly for the broadcast, right? Because, to me, those were the two takeaways that night. Everybody was great, but those two I felt like really put their best foot forward that evening.
And that's the beauty of comedy, and for real, is it's selfless. I mean, all us comics celebrate when people kill it. You give people their flowers when they murder. And none of us... And, look, if this had been 1987, I think a bunch of comics would have been trashing each other. Yeah. Going, it wasn't that good, ... But, man, comedy's in a place now where you're like, yo, man, you give Nikki and Tony their flowers. Kronk was hilarious. Everyone was hilarious. Everyone was hilarious. But, man, Nikki...
killed.
Next level.
Man, you keep talking about the brotherhood of comedy, right? And, the camaraderie of it. And I wonder, do you think that's partially because there's so many shots from the outside, Bert? Like, you got so many, haters online taking shots at everybody that it's kind of banded the comedians together. Like, nah, dude, it's back to us versus them versus the haters a little bit. Do you think that's maybe what did that?
Yeah, I think there's some of that. I mean, I don't really focus too much on the negativity because you realize the negativity's got to come. And
right.
And I think a lot of times people say wild things about you and they don't think you're going to see it. And, and in my case, I used to read it and it would devastate me.
I could believe that.
Be like, it would mess me up. And so I had to stop. I hired a social media person. I was like, you read all the comments. If there's anything going on bad, let me know. But for the most part, I think I don't know if it's an us against them. I think it's an us with them. I think comics just love when you crush a room and you get everyone around and they see something they didn't expect to see. I think it's such a treat. I go back to that roast, but when Nikki told the Gronk joke of me know that not real money,
so good.
The room is just, they're watching a magic trick. They're watching someone so quick with words and timing destroy, and that is the beauty of comedy. And I think that's what we share, and I think that's what people respond to is that selectivity. I'll tell you, man, I had one guy really hated me. He wrote like a mean song about me, and my buddies, Big J. Okerson, listened to it on the podcast. They told me to listen to it, and I responded on the podcast, and they were like, "What did you think?" I go, "Well, it just stinks." I was like, I wish I hadn't heard it. Like, the guy's talented, but it bums me out. I wish it was about someone else. And the dude reached out, and he was like, man, I am so sorry. I didn't think you'd ever hear that. I got caught up in the hate game. And you got to understand that, listen, I've done that to celebrities. I've done that where you think they're never going to hear it. You just say stuff, especially on a podcast. I've said some wild stuff that I run into the celebrity, and you're like, hey, I didn't mean any of that. I was just joking. I was trying to be funny. So I get it. It comes with territory,
You keep bringing up the roast, Bert, and we do have the Fully Loaded Comedy Festival here in town on the 20th, fullyloadedfestival.com for some tickets. And everybody's been saying since the Brady roast, oh, well, where do you go? There's been a lot of, there was a little bit, Tom didn't necessarily love every joke. There's a bunch of people saying, I don't know if you're going to get anybody, open to be, have everybody take shots at him like that. And the more I thought about it over the last couple of weeks, I feel like you're the guy for the next roast, right, Bert? Like I mean, you are the stratosphere now. Like you are, right? I mean, you're the first thing I see on Facebook or Instagram when I see a clip, or it's you or you and Tom together, or you and your wife, or whatever. I mean, and so I kind of feel like you're also the guy who will sit up there, shirt off, sit on the throne, and take all the hits and actually laugh and think everything is funny when you're being roasted. I think you're the next guy to be roasted.
No way.
I guess you know all those people too well, right?
The only reason I wouldn't do it is I don't want to go last. I don't want to have to do what Tom Brady did. He did it beautifully, man. And he was a course to do.
Yeah.
I don't think he understood getting involved with entirely. But yeah, I think the next one's going to be Tiger.
Oh God, I would love it. He doesn't. I don't. Historically, he's not been the guy that's okay with that kind of stuff. But I think it would be the most interesting thing in the world. And I hope what you just told me is you have an inside track and you kind of know what's going to happen a little. That's what I'm hoping right there. Because I am a huge golf fan. Bert, by the way, good job hosting that Netflix golf special. By the way, I'm a huge golf fan, so I'm all in.
Yeah, listen, Tiger's got a sense of humor. He loves comedy, and I think enough time has passed with him. Okay. Where I think that would be an epic roast.
Oh, I agree. I mean, I would literally be on the edge of my seat for that one because, like I said, I am a diehard golf fan, and so I've been a Tiger follower his entire career. I hope that happens.
I would be lucky to be on that roast. I'll tell you that. I'm a huge Tiger Woods fan.
Yeah, I would absolutely be excited about that. Bert Kreischer in town on the 20th, fullyloadedfestival.com for your tickets at Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium. My man, you keep saying you're going to take some time off, 9 months, but you are one of the most driven guys I've ever seen. Entertainment. Like, what does Bert Kreischer do for time off? Like, how do you unwind? What happens?
I'm not going to stop doing stand-up, and like I'll pop into clubs and workout stuff. That's just the meat of who I am. Yeah. But we're trying to. Leanne and I, Isla is going to college this year. George is in college, and Leanne and I want to do some stuff that we never got to do. Like we want to like move to Europe for like a couple months and
do that. Yeah.
Try to live. I've worked so hard. I think I've neglected our now's the time where like you put those emotional investments and you put them back in. So I think hopefully we'll do that.
Yeah, that's a good idea, man. Because you are the living embodiment of behind every great man, right? Like that's like it seems like Leanne really is. Like if there's ever been a couple that's true of, you say get this house right, get the life right, man. So you knocked life way out of the park, man. Like everything. Like you killed life.
I tell you right now, man. I used to say when I was working on Travel Channel, people would always ask me, "How you doing?" And I always would say, "I'm so tired." And then I realized I was putting that on the universe, that I was tired all the time. And I was like, no. And then when things started happening for me, I started realizing just how much joy I have in my life. And I don't have a day ready for this festival. I can't wait, man. I'm the luckiest kid you'll ever meet in the world, and know that I am well aware of it. I am mildly intelligent.
A little bit more in that to get this damn lucky. But I appreciate your outlook, man. And like I said earlier while talking to you, I think more celebrities, if I can use that word with you, I think you absolutely are. I think more celebrity, everything that's going on with you, and I think it's infectious, man. So thanks for that.
Dude, every day you're here breathing and you're lucky. And I think that is where you need to start your day. And especially if you can take a look at the glass half full. Man, I got a great truck. I got great kids. I'm involved in their lives. My wife's a gangster. How does it get better? No. Do you need it to get any better? All you need is to wake up every morning and go, man, I got a cup of coffee coming my way. I got a great day. I got good friends. We're going to have beers this weekend. We got a comedy festival coming to town. I can't wait to laugh with some comedians I've never seen before. Find some new favorite comics. Check out their podcast. I got so much good stuff coming my way.
Man, you got a really great outlook, man. And honestly, when you have an outlook that good, you deserve everything that is coming your way. The Fully Loaded Festival at Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium, that on the 20th, fullyloadedfestival.com for a very limited amount of tickets left for that. Bert Kreischer, my man, this was one of the best mornings I've had in a while. Thanks for stopping by the show, dude.
Brother, thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too. Welcome back to the Stansbury Show. We're on Rock 106.9. Thanks again to Bert Kreischer stopping by the program this morning. He didn't have to do that. We were scheduled to do it once upon a time. We were actually on the phone, and we had a bunch of studio issues that I believe were my fault that day. And I ended up having a disconnection. And he was like, look, man, I'm sorry, but I got to run. I'm doing a lot of this kind of stuff today. I got to run. And he's like, the show's not for a couple of weeks. We'll get you rescheduled. And I thought for sure I was being blown off. was like, damn it. I was like, we screwed this up. This guy's like the biggest thing going right now. He's literally going to be in my backyard. It's like, if I don't have this guy on the show, it looks insane on some level, right? Like, it looks kind of crazy. And so his booking agent could not be a nicer guy. I've dealt with him a lot over the years. Was like, dude, don't worry. Bert's actually a really good dude. He'll get you rescheduled. Sure enough, he did. So that show's on the 20th. FullyLoadedFestival.com for some tickets. I don't think there's that many left. So you're probably going to want to jump on those if you're looking to go to that show. A lot of you have already hit me up this morning like, yo, man, I'm going. I cannot wait. I'm excited to see Bert. And here's the thing, man. Like, I've never seen him live. I don't believe. I mean, I've obviously seen the Machine story told. And he may have been on a comedy show that I was at years ago before, like, the Kreischer thing happened. But I was kind of interested to talk to him, if I'm honest. Because I've sort of reached the saturation level. Like, every time I go to, this is not his fault. Every time I go to his, like, open up a social media app, his mug is what I see first. Now, I must be engaging with it or commenting on something because the algorithm keeps showing him to me, right? And I would admit, I find him and Tom to be a good partnership. They're funny together, right? I personally, as far as, like, on the stage, just telling jokes, give me Tom Segura. I think he's the better comedian. Bert is the better, I'm a famous person. It's not, I mean, I don't even think it's close. Like, right? Like, Tom almost feels reluctant to be famous, where Bert is like, give me the fame, bitch. You know what I mean? I want to bathe in that fame. And that's how Bert feels to me. And so I was like, there was a little bit of me that's like, well, dude, I want to talk to this guy, obviously. He's coming to Canton. It's good for the program. That I get. I was like, let's see what we get. And he was the world's nicest guy. And I mean nicest guy. I'm wrapping up the interview. It sounded like he wanted to go another 25 minutes. Texted me when it was over. He's like, yo, man, thanks again for that. Happy to do it. Let's try to connect when I'm in town. Like, I mean, dude, just could not be a nicer guy. Just good dude. 20th there. Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium, FullyLoadedFestival.com. One of the things he talked about in that interview was the Tom Brady roast. He kept going back. Right? Because there will be very little regret the day after, like Tom had. Like, you know, all these people, they're going to hit hard, and like, he'll laugh. And he'll have fun with it. He said, no way. He's like, dude, he's like, I know all those people. And I said, well, yeah, you know, they probably know where the body. He said he feels like the next one's tight. Now, I don't know if that was, and I even said it, I said, did you just kind of tell me this is what's going to happen without telling me that's what's going to happen? I hope that's what we just got there. I don't see it. He would know. I'm sure Netflix would tell Bert and be like, yo, man, this is what we're thinking, and start writing and do. So he would know, right? Now, he did not confirm. He just said that's who he thinks it could be. I don't see it. Knowing Tiger, I don't know him. But following his life the way I have, the man has been notoriously private. He does not like anybody getting in. People have signed thousands of NDAs he requires an NDA for you to cut his hair. Like, Tiger is insane. The first round of his career, he never talked to anybody on the course ever. If somebody tried talking to him, he would smile and walk right past them. Like, bro, I'm trying to beat your ass right now. We're not friends. He's a very different Tiger Woods today, but with Charlie getting ready to start, Charlie, his Tiger's son, for anybody that does not know, with Charlie getting ready to start his golf career, I'm not sure Tiger's going to sit up there and allow Netflix for 3 hours to open all those wounds again. I would be shocked if it's Tiger. Beyond that, I think it's big for me. It was clearly a big idea for Bert Kreischer. He seemed to be all in love with it. And again, he's a big golf fan, and he's a big Tiger Woods fan. I think it's big for him. I think it's big for me. I'm not sure it's big for you. Right? Like, Tiger doesn't have that same gravitational pull that he once had. For the golf world, I mean, he shows up, dude, plays well in the U.S. Open. I mean, dude, look out, right? And I mean, look out. That'll be massive. But to the average everyday American, Tiger doesn't, I don't think, have that gravitational pull he once had. He doesn't feel like that dominant figure any longer. You know, he doesn't feel top